Imagine this. You're in the middle of a dream, and suddenly time freezes. The clock stops ticking. The world around you comes to a standstill, but your mind keeps racing. What happens when time is no longer bound by the rules we know? Could this be a dream, or something deeper, something your subconscious is trying to tell you? In a world where our dreams are shaped by AI, the boundaries of time, space, and reality begin to blur, and the results might just leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about your own mind. Welcome to a journey where time has no limits. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, so you can keep exploring the mysteries of your mind with us. Imagine you're drifting into sleep. The world around you fades, and suddenly you find yourself in a dream. The laws of physics, the rules of time, they don't apply here. What happens when time stops in your dreams? Can it freeze, stretch, or bend in ways it can't in the waking world? Our dreams are strange. In one moment, you might feel like days are passing, and in the next, what seemed like hours could have been just a fleeting second. It's not uncommon for a dream to feel like it's stretching beyond the confines of time. You could be living an entire lifetime in what feels like a split second. Or time could slow down so much that a brief moment in the dream world stretches into eternity. But here's the question. Why does time behave so differently in dreams? Is it because our brain is no longer bound by the ticking clock? Or does something deeper happen? Neuroscientists believe that the parts of our brain responsible for perceiving time, like the prefrontal cortex, become less active during sleep. This allows our dreams to escape the boundaries of time. In essence, time in dreams is more about perception than the strict passage of seconds, minutes, and hours. So, what does it mean when we dream of time standing still? It's more than just a curiosity. It might be a message from our subconscious, playing with the very fabric of reality. To understand what happens when time stops in your dreams, we need to take a step back into the realm of sleep science. Our brains are incredibly active during sleep, sometimes even more than when we're awake. But how does time work in this mysterious state? During sleep, our brains cycle through different stages, each playing a distinct role. There are two primary stages that affect how we experience time: REM sleep, rapid eye movement, and non-REM sleep. REM sleep is the stage where we experience our most vivid dreams, while non-REM sleep is a deeper, restorative phase. Now, here's the fascinating part. In REM sleep, our brain activity mirrors that of wakefulness, but time feels much different. The brain is busy processing memories, emotions, and experiences, which often leads to distorted perceptions of time. 1 minute might feel like an hour, or an entire dream might seem to pass in what felt like only a few seconds. The prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain that controls logical thinking and time tracking, is less active during sleep, allowing for these bizarre time distortions. But what about when time seems to stand still entirely in our dreams? Research suggests that it's during moments of intense emotional or sensory experiences in dreams that we lose our usual sense of time. For example, a thrilling chase or a dream of flying could make us lose track of time because our brain is focused on the experience rather than the clock. So, when time feels frozen in our dreams, it's not a glitch. It's our brain's way of bending time to fit the emotional and sensory intensity of the dream. What if machines could dream? It's a wild thought, right? We're used to thinking of AI as cold, calculating, and bound by logic. But what happens when these machines start to generate experiences that mimic dreams? How does AI, something created by us, perceive time or even the very concept of a dream? AI doesn't dream in the way humans do, at least not yet. However, AI systems can simulate the process of dreaming. By using neural networks, AI mimics human brain processes like pattern recognition, image creation, and even memory association. In some ways, AI could be seen as having its own kind of dreams through what's called generative models, a type of AI that creates new content by learning from massive amounts of data. The idea of AI dreaming might sound odd, but it raises an interesting question. Does the concept of time change for a machine? When AI is fed data, it processes it based on algorithms in a kind of rapid, non-linear way. It doesn't experience the passage of time as we do. In fact, AI's processing speed is so quick that it could simulate an entire dreamscape in the blink of an eye, where time behaves as if it has no boundaries. In AI-generated dreams, time could be warped, stretched, or even frozen, much like the way our brains bend time during sleep. And while humans experience the distortion of time based on emotions, sensory input, and memories, AI would create a dreamscape where time is shaped by data. This could result in a world where every second feels stretched, or in some cases, compressed into an instant. So, when AI dreams, it's not just processing data. It's crafting its own perception of reality and time, much like we do in our subconscious minds. Have you ever realized you were dreaming while still inside a dream? This is lucid dreaming, the unique state where you become aware of the dream world around you, and sometimes even gain the ability to control it. But what happens to time when you take control? Could you slow it down, speed it up, or make it stand still? Lucid dreaming opens up a fascinating space where the rules of time, space, and logic are no longer confined to the usual boundaries. When you become aware in a dream, you might decide to fly, meet a celebrity, or even relive a moment from your past. But here's the twist. You can also manipulate the very flow of time. In a lucid dream, the experience of time can feel vastly different from the waking world. When you're aware that you're dreaming, you may feel like you have all the time in the world to explore. A few minutes in a lucid dream might stretch out into what feels like hours. The brain, now conscious of the dream state, stops perceiving time the same way it does during regular dreams, creating the illusion of unlimited time. Some lucid dreamers report feeling as if they're in an alternate universe where they can slow down time, maybe to savor a moment longer, or to experience an event in slow motion. Others find that time seems to speed up in lucid dreams, especially when they're fully immersed in the dream's narrative. It's as if the dream mind knows no limits and simply bends the very nature of reality. But what does this say about time itself? Is time in our dreams a true reflection of our mental state, or is it just another illusion that our mind constructs, all under our control? Have you ever experienced a dream where you felt like you were reliving a moment from your past? Only this time, it's different. Time stands still. The world around you seems frozen, and you can walk through your memories, experiencing them again, as if they were happening in real time. It's a surreal experience, like stepping into a time machine of your own mind. In these moments, time doesn't just stop. It repeats itself. You might find yourself in a situation that you've lived through before, but now the emotions, the sounds, the smells, and the sights feel intensely vivid, as though you're seeing them for the first time. The difference? Time feels frozen. You can pause, observe, and even change the events, though you might not have that control consciously. This type of dream can be unsettling, especially when you're revisiting painful memories or trying to make sense of unresolved emotions. But what's happening in your brain during these dreams? Why does it seem like time has stopped and you're caught in a loop of the past? Experts believe that these dreams may be linked to the brain's way of processing trauma, nostalgia, or unresolved feelings. When time seems to stand still, it's almost as if the mind is trying to re-examine a moment, perhaps offering a chance to see it from a different perspective. In these moments, your subconscious mind may be trying to heal or process something left unaddressed. But here's the kicker. These frozen memories are not always accurate. They may be distorted by the emotions we attach to them. As a result, it's not just the past that comes alive. It's a reimagining of what we've lived through, frozen in time. Ever had a dream where the timeline feels completely out of sync? Maybe you find yourself moving between moments in your life with no real connection to the order of events. One second, you're in your childhood home, the next, you're at a dinner with friends, but there's no real explanation for how you got there. Memory plays a powerful role in these kinds of dreams, influencing how we experience time, or sometimes how we experience the absence of time. In dreams, especially the ones that feel timeless, memory becomes a fluid, ever-changing entity. We tend to mix events, blending past, present, and future together in ways that make no logical sense. One moment, you're reliving a traumatic event, and the next, you're jumping forward to an imagined future. Time itself becomes irrelevant as the brain revisits and reinterprets memories through a distorted lens. Why does this happen? Memory is not a fixed file stored in one part of our brain. It's constantly being updated and reorganized. Our memories are affected by emotions, stress, and new experiences, and as a result, they become less reliable over time. This is why dreams often feature events that are out of order or exaggerated versions of past experiences. They're not just about remembering, they're about reinterpreting. When time seems to disappear in dreams, it's often because the brain is revisiting a memory and breaking it down, reshaping it, or even creating new memories from the fragments. This allows for a dream experience where time is irrelevant, as the brain focuses solely on the emotional or sensory essence of the memory. It's as if our brain wants to pause and relive the moment, allowing us to process it in a way we might not have been able to during the waking hours. Time is one of those concepts we take for granted, until it begins to slip through our fingers, like sand in the wind. In our dreams, time often becomes a paradox. It's both everything and nothing. How can something so universal, so tangible in waking life, feel so elusive when we enter the dream world? This paradox is one of the most fascinating aspects of our subconscious. In our waking reality, time is a constant. We have clocks, deadlines, appointments, things that keep us tethered to a linear progression. But in our dreams, especially those where time feels warped or frozen, time loses its grip on us entirely. You can find yourself in a moment that feels like eternity, yet only a few minutes may have passed in real life. Conversely, a dream that felt like it lasted hours might collapse into mere seconds upon waking. So, what is it about dreams that allows time to stretch, bend, and break like this? It could be that our brain, during sleep, isn't governed by the same logical structures that control time in the waking world. When we're dreaming, the flow of time is more fluid, governed less by clocks and more by the intensity of emotions, the weight of memories, and even the nature of the dream itself. But here's the catch. Time in dreams is both subjective and objective. It exists as an internal experience, but it also reflects a larger, universal force that we can't quite touch. It's a space where reality and perception collide. Time in dreams is, at its core, a paradox. It's a force that both exists and doesn't, depending on how we choose to look at it. Now, imagine this. What if AI could replicate the way we experience time in our dreams? What if it could bend, stretch, or even stop time just like our minds do when we sleep? AI, with its ability to process vast amounts of data in an instant, could hold the key to unlocking the mysteries of how our brains distort time in dreams. But can machines, capable of analyzing data and making predictions, truly comprehend, or even create, time in the same way we do? AI has already made strides in mimicking human cognition, and one of the most intriguing advancements is in the realm of generative models, artificial neural networks that create new content based on learned data. These models, while not dreaming in the traditional sense, can simulate dreamlike states by generating surreal, time-bending environments. Picture an AI crafting a dreamscape where time behaves unpredictably, a world where moments last forever, seconds feel like years, or the concept of time simply doesn't exist at all. What's truly mind-boggling is the potential for AI to dream by leveraging these time-bending algorithms. By analyzing patterns in vast data sets, such as how humans experience time, how emotions distort time perception, or how memories overlap, AI could generate entirely new dream scenarios, each with its own warped perception of time. In this digital dream world, time could be controlled at the push of a button, bending it according to the algorithm's design, rather than the biological limitations of the human brain. So, could AI become a creator of its own time distortions? Could it generate a dreamlike state where time is completely subjective, offering a glimpse into a world where time truly has no rules? In some ways, AI's role in understanding dreams and time could unlock a new frontier in the science of the subconscious. Have you ever woken up and felt like you didn't dream at all? It's almost as if time just stopped during your sleep, and your mind remained still. There was no dreaming, no endless journey through surreal worlds, just an empty, blank slate. This experience of dreamless sleep is one of the most fascinating and elusive states of the human mind. When we sleep, our brains typically cycle through REM, rapid eye movement, and non-REM stages. While REM sleep is where our most vivid dreams occur, non-REM sleep is often deeper, more restorative. But what happens when we skip the dreaming part entirely? In some cases, it feels as though time itself halts. There's no sensation of passing minutes, no perception of time slipping by, just pure stillness. During dreamless sleep, our minds enter a state where time feels suspended. It's as if the brain is taking a break from processing memories, emotions, and external stimuli. In a way, it's a brief escape from the constant ticking of the clock. But is this truly an absence of time? Or is it just our brain's way of slowing down its internal clock to focus on pure rest? What's even more intriguing is how brain activity shifts during this stage. While the body is still, the mind continues to process basic life functions, even if we're not consciously aware of it. Some researchers suggest that During dreamless sleep, our brains may be more focused on healing and recharging rather than the complex processing that occurs during dreams. In this state, time is not a priority. The brain simply pauses, allowing the body to restore itself. Could this ultimate pause in time be the brain's way of resetting, preparing for the dream worlds where time bends and twists? In some ways, dreamless sleep could be the mind's version of hitting pause before the unpredictable chaos of dreams begins once more. So, what happens when time truly stops in your dreams? It's not just a trick of perception or the subtle bending of the mind's grasp on reality. It's the ultimate suspension of the rules we know. Imagine being trapped in a moment where nothing moves, nothing changes, and there's no ticking clock to remind you of the world outside. Time has stopped. But why does this happen, and what does it mean? In this state, our conscious mind can feel completely free from the constraints of reality. Time may feel infinite, or it may seem entirely irrelevant. In some dreams, you might be caught in a loop, repeating the same moments over and over without any progression. In others, time might feel so stretched that a single second lasts for what feels like eternity. It's an eerie, surreal experience, like being suspended in a space where nothing is happening, and yet everything feels incredibly intense. But here's where it gets interesting. Could this phenomenon be a reflection of the subconscious mind, trying to process something? Time in this state becomes more of a backdrop for emotional or psychological processing than a linear sequence. The dream may not be focused on events unfolding, but on the sensations, feelings, or unresolved thoughts that linger in the mind. In this timeless space, you may be confronting a deep fear, a long-forgotten memory, or an existential question that has no definitive answer. In these moments of frozen time, the dreamer is not bound by the usual constraints. Instead, it's as if the subconscious is saying, "Here, you have all the time you need to explore this moment." And when time resumes, the dream shifts again, perhaps back into the flow of time, but never quite the same as it was before. And so, we come full circle. Time in the realm of dreams is something that defies all expectations. It stretches, collapses, and even disappears altogether. Whether it's AI generating dreamlike states or the human mind slipping into lucid dreaming, time in dreams is no longer just a measure of seconds and minutes. It's a fluid, subjective experience shaped by emotions, memories, and the complexity of our inner worlds. What happens when time stops in your dreams? Maybe, just maybe, it's not about the absence of time. It's about stepping into a place where time simply doesn't matter anymore.